1960, Whitehall, Michigan is an average American city. It isn't a large city. In fact, it's small as cities go. But it's old, it's proud of its heritage, and it's progressive. Perhaps the first view of the Whitehall area by white men was this wildly beautiful western shoreline of Michigan territory. Miles on endless miles of stately dunes and gleaming beaches, western ramparts of an untouched sea of pine forest reaching unbroken across to Lake Huron on the east. Inhabited by proud tribes of Indians who built a free, good life in a land of bountiful supply. Inland from the shores of Lake Michigan, connected to the Big Lake by this quiet, meandering stream, lay a beautiful deep-water lake formed by the influx of the White River. White Lake, the channel, the river, and inexhaustible supplies of virgin pine seem placed by nature in infinite wisdom as a perfect source of lumber for the growing towns, cities, and settlements to the prairies to the west. America was growing. The cry was for lumber. Men, giants in their days, came to the Whitehall area. Mears, Stanton, Slocum, Colby, Koval, and the rest came, cut timber, built mills, floated huge logs downriver in the spring flood, cut, stacked, and shipped millions of feet of Michigan pine from White Lake by sailing ship to help build America. These were rough days and built strong, tough men who built a town and established a heritage that will always be felt in the spirit and progressiveness of Whitehall. It's a long way from the boom and bust days of logging back in the 60s to the pleasant, well-balanced town of Whitehall today. A symbol of its forward-thinking people is the new City Hall. The fine schools, churches, its industries, and homes all show planning and intelligence of the highest degree, but still keep the charm and personality of the old days and the old ways. The White Lake Yacht Club, where the heritage of the hardy old lake sailors of the past is kept alive by White Lake people who now find many hours of fun and healthful recreation on White Lake's sparkling waters, or playing golf on one of western Michigan's finest golf courses. Here in the White Lake area, people find life enjoyable, and here they remember the past with a pride that is just. To commemorate 100 years of progress and to keep alive the spirit and history of its past, the peoples of Whitehall set aside July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of the year 1960 for celebration. The morning of the 2nd dawned bright and clear. The town seemed to be waiting in hushed expectancy. The ghosts of 100 years were to be revived. The crowds gathered. They found vantage points and waited. Among the crowd was our Centennial Grand Lady, Mary Koval. And then it came, the finest parade that this area or any area has ever seen. Whitehall Band. The Swedish dancers. We'll see plenty of them later on. our Centennial Queen. And the Centennial Bells. And Nancy Fleming, at the time this picture taken, was Miss Michigan. Now she's Miss America. What a thrill for everyone. As is easy to see, White Lake industry, its commercial establishments, its service clubs, everyone went to a great deal of work to make this the finest parade that the White Lake area has ever known. We had a rolling calaboose. And right at the moment it looks as though one of the prisoners is planning on escaping. Officer, you lost a man. Scottville Clown Band. There was an old lady who lived in a shoe. She had so many children she didn't know what to do. At the passing in review of the White Lake Trailblazers Club, the end of the greatest parade we've ever seen, and back to Funnel Field, where the crowd is entertained by the Scottsville Clown Band. And the Centennial Queen and the Centennial Bells are brought forth and introduced to the crowd. There she is, our Centennial Queen. Queen is crowned, and a prettier, sweeter queen no one ever had. And now it's time for the fashion show. Fashions from the early 1860 to right now in 1960. Pass in review before the Centennial Bells, and to the thrill of the crowd. Oh, here, young lady, you must leave the stage. You can't be dressed that way. Come now, let's be dressed properly. Now, girls, you'll have to stop appearing in these brief costumes. And there she is, our own Miss America, showing off some of her own costumes that she designed and produced. Now, no centennial would be complete without a beard contest. And I guess we had the finest beards in the state of Michigan. The boys outdid themselves. Although some of them had rather unhappy wives, we had a wonderful beard contest. Now, anybody who didn't raise a beard had to have a shaver's permit. If he didn't, he was taken before the judge and fined. The Swedish dancers. Whitehall, boys and girls of school age in colorful costumes, doing intricate steps that show hours of planning and hard work on the part of everyone concerned with this effort. For those who wanted it, and for the enjoyment of everyone, there was a carnival that ran night and day in connection with the centennial. Wow, that one looks tough. But the younger set had a wonderful time. Now it's down to White Lake for one of the greatest thrills of the centennial. They're off. The White Lake Yacht Club put on a sailing race in front of the crowd in very close proximity to the dock. That was one of the greatest things that's ever been done on the lake. Around the mark and spinnakers set before the wind make a jewel of color on sparkling White Lake. And there they are, W-22, the winners. And there's a close look at the winning boat. And now, with a great crowd gathered on the dock, we're about to witness the Whitey White's Thrill Show, which produced for the crowd a thrill a minute. Professional skiers performing with speed and daring. Whoop! Skiing on his bare feet. Now this is a good trick for you to try on a Sunday afternoon. A couple of the girls decided they'd have to go skiing, whether they knew anything about it or not. They're going to get wet. She sure did. Now they're doing pretty good for a couple of amateurs. Here comes the thrill of the show. Flying high above the crowd on a airborne kite is a man on water skis. Everybody is thrilled to death to watch him sailing serenely through the air. But suddenly he hits a downdraft and down he comes. This was not part of the act. It was an accident, and luckily no one was hurt. And with that finale, the ski show ends, and we go down to the park for an interesting exhibit by the Boy Scouts of the area on Indian dancing. And it's back to Funnel Field for some more beer judging contest. The judges had a very tough time picking the best, but they did a good job. Now the Keystone cops have spotted a man without a beard. And they've got him. And it's off to the pokey he goes. Come on, get in there, don't argue. Now, we had prizes for the fullest beard, and we even had a prize for the smallest beard. In fact, they called it the puniest beard. And then it's on to the parade of the kids and their pets. Everyone had a wonderful time. How would you like to be a judge in a parade like this? Everyone was a prize winner. But the judges again did a fine job, and they finally picked the winners. Here they are. Now, we had some real Indians stop in to talk to us. And because Indians don't have beards, into the pokey. Here we are at the pie-eating contest, the highlight of that day's activities. With a gentle prod now and then by some helpful person, these boys and girls did a wonderful job of making a mess of themselves and enjoying a good taste of pie. There they are, the winners, messy but unbowed. As a fitting symbol of the Whitehall Centennial, a beautiful red maple was planted on the lawn of the new City Hall. Back to White Lake for a boat parade of the boats of the White Lake area. They dressed them all up and they came and put on a good show for everyone. And there's again Miss America. The Sea Scout ship. Now there's a hardy old salt. If he doesn't get wet, it'll be a miracle. Now we've got it. Down at the city dock, the Whitehall and Montague Fire Department put on a water battle that was a real show. The object is to get that barrel up, and they made a goal. The object is to get that barrel over to the other fellow's goal post. And it's quite a trick if you can do it. Of course, every once in a while, one of the boys will squeeze the hose on the other truck and put him out of commission for a minute. Watch it, watch it. Well, they saved that one. Careful, there she goes. And there's the final score. And here's the victorious Whitehall team and their neighbors from the north who didn't win but are still proud and happy. No 4th of July celebration would be complete without fireworks. And fireworks we had. They were absolutely beautiful. And to finish off the entire weekend of festivities, our Centennial Ball was a complete success. Here was the fitting climax to a prime example of people working together and enjoying life and remembering the past and yet planning for the future. The Whitehall Chamber of Commerce wants to thank all of the many people